patreon.com/Geek Aloud. It's 8 p.m. It's a Monday night. So I'm on the couch. Troy here, Gaming Enforcement Agency on duty with, of course, Steve on Discord. Steve, welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. On duty. Oh, Troy, what a week it's been.
What a big week it's been, Steve. I have been loving it silly. I don't know about you, man, but this week absolutely flew. I was gaming my whole out, and boy, did I have a lot of fun this week. Woo!
Mate, absolutely. I'm exactly the same. We'll have a little bit of a hiccup, which we'll talk about very soon.
Oh, yes, quite the hiccup. But for those tuning in at home, let me tell you how this show runs. First off, guess what we do? Tonight we're kicking down 5 game doors. That's right. Steve and I are going to interrogate and deliberate on 5 of the games that we've been checking out this week. And then, of course, we go into the news segment. We cover all the news, the hot goss, if you will, in the gaming industry. Everyone likes having that door kicked in, surely. And then the best door of all to kick in, yours. That's right. We're coming to you, the audience. Sound off all show in the YouTube comments. Any questions, any comments, throw them in there, and we will round you up when we kick in that audience door right at the tail end of the show. But where did I say we were going to start? That's right. Game interrogation and deliberation. All right, Steve, it's my favourite game so far this year, Elden Ring. Sir, I know you've been playing it, but you have the best story, so I'm handing it over to you. Tell us things.
I do. So before we get into the positives, let's start on the negatives, Troy.
Yeah, let's kick in their teeth.
All right, let's start with the negative and the fact that Elden Ring did completely and utterly, as far as I'm concerned, it was this game that did crash my PlayStation 5 last night.
Steve, after you told me this story, I did investigation. I'm confident of your assertion there, mate. I agree with you completely. I believe it was Elden Ring's fault. Keep going.
Yep, so I installed the patch. The most recent patch was, 1.021 or something? It came out?
1.002. Yep.
Yeah, it was supposed to correct the save issue which PlayStation 5 was having with the game being, shut down in rest mode and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I think initially maybe that's what actually saved my save file, spoiler alert, in the long run, is because I had installed that patch and I did close the game properly and quit out and save before I had my crash.
Yes.
So what happened is obviously that had happened. We'd had some dinner, came back to my PlayStation 5 and I had this error on the screen saying your PlayStation 5 has been shut down. It needs to rebuild the data. So the only way to do this is to reinstall PlayStation 5 hardware or whatever, was full factory reset.
Factory reset.
So the thing had booted up into safe mode, and all I had was option 7 in the safe mode, which is to do that the full boot up from download the PlayStation 5 software from a computer on the PlayStation 5 or Sony website, and then put that USB in the back of your console and then back it up and lose all your data and everything. So that was what I was looking at doing, and then we tried to do that multiple times. My wife and I were just using her laptop and trying to sort it out, and that didn't even read the USB, and then she's done some while I sat on the sofa all grumpy and huffing and, cursing that my PlayStation 5 had been bricked after having so much fun with Elden Ring. She's walked over to my console and held the button down for like 7 seconds, and it does a beep, and then you press it again, and it sort of forces the console to go into safe mode with all the options open again. And long story short, I managed to reset the PS5 back to sort of just a brand new console, and just had to set the console up as new, but I could log in as myself through the my PlayStation app and using the QR code, so it had all my settings and stuff there.
Perfect.
Kept all my save files and all that. I just had to reinstall all my games. So obviously the first thing I did was reinstall Elden Ring Horizon and Seafood back onto my consoles. But then it was the sleepless night of waiting till the morning when my game was going to be available to see if my Elden Ring save of about 8 hours had disappeared, or whether I was, which I was freaking out about because I'd done so much stuff that I really didn't want to do again.
Yep.
And booted up this morning before work at about 4:30 a.m. And it was either going to ruin my day or make my day. And Troy, it made my day when it booted up, and I was exactly where I'd force saved the game earlier the night before, about 4:30. So I was a happy little camper there. And since coming home today, I've now put in probably, I think 13 hours now is what my game clock sits at, and I'm currently sitting at level 31.
Nice, man. For me, I'm at 9.5 hours, level 18.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I've done a bit of grind. I'm not sure what you think about this game, but for me, this is just like a open world Dark Souls. Like it's everywhere you go in this game, it's just like the discovery, the adventure. You just feel like you're on the fact that you don't have your handheld at all. It's just got that Breath of the Wild, and it's just so refreshing. Especially, I put 25 hours into Horizon last weekend, and I really, really enjoyed my time with that. But there's just something about playing this game where you're not really told where to go, where wherever you're going, you're just discovering new things and you don't know what you're going to find. You come across NPCs, you have conversations with them. They'll send you on a quest. Like I've done multiple quests now where I've just ran into someone. He's like, this village is really bad and lots of dead people. So I ended up fighting like this boss that's on a boat and ended up getting some ashes of war that I could like bring into battle, which is like some skeletons and stuff. And it's just stuff like that like there's no cursor telling you to go there. There's no cursor to find this NPC. You hear him calling out, you see him there, and you speak to him, and all of a sudden you're on a quest, and then you get given you come back to the main hub area, give him the head of the thing you've slain, and he then puts a marker on your map to go find something else. And it's just this kind of emergent gameplay that I think not many games really do, and I think Elden Ring's absolutely perfected it.
Yeah, mate, right on that point. Here's my pitch to you. They've done the Returnal. They've done we're not going to give you much, go and explore yourself. And Returnal covered it by, instead of being open world, being randomly generated limited world, whereas From Software went the other way, we'll just build a massive world and work it out for yourself. For me as a gamer, this speaks to me right to my soul. I absolutely love this because I hate reading stuff. I hate being told what to do, and I hate linear sections. Like the Returnal, the freedom that I felt in Returnal, that I can't even remember. What was my clock in the end? 7 days? Like the freedom that game gave me is how I was able to immerse myself in it for a full week. It's that freedom. And this game has that exact feeling. It's an open world simulation of freedom, and I am going to lose myself in this game for a long time. I think it speaks to me on such a core level. It is gameplay first all the way. And I don't know what they paid. What's his full name? Martin. George
J.R. Martin, is it?
Yeah, that guy. I don't know what they paid him, but I can't see his fingerprints on it other than that opening cutscene, which, my God, that opening cutscene, nothing has jacked me up more in recent gaming memory than that opener to a game. Like,
oh, mate, just the music in the main menu when you're first there just gets you jacked up, ready to go.
But like, if you were to loosely tell me in advance, hey, their opener is like 2 minutes of Ken Burns effect, like they're just doing a gentle zoom in on a different part of a still image, I would have said, what is that? That's a nothing opener. That does nothing for me. The way they pull it off, man, not only does it sound like it should be boring, but they absolutely nail it. They nailed it to the point that I was like jacked up to 11 off, about 12 images with a slow zoom on them. It makes no sense, but to experience it yourself, it's phenomenal. They blew me away from the opening cutscene, and then the vastness of this world, the freedom that I feel in it, and the ability with, like, I think there's so much of my enjoyment from this game is derived from my previous experience with Dark Souls. I would love to speak to someone who's never played a FromSoft game and played this. I'd love to dig into someone's mind about their perspective from that. But from me, as somebody who's played these games before, this is just phenomenal. And I know you can't see it there, Steve, but I don't even know if you've been to this. I'm going to call them states. But this state that you jump like the red burning fence to get into the state, it's smouldering something. And everything inside this state is like a smouldering red brick. Like there's an entire castle that looks like it's on fire. A church that looks like the rocks are on fire. Like it's visually so incredibly impressive and unique. I haven't seen another game with this kind of art style and direction. Everywhere I go, you've got the freedom to go anywhere, and every different, I'm going to call them biomes now instead of states now that I think about it, every different biome just has its own unique flavor, and it's not only unique in the world it exists in. I would argue all their zones are unique in video games across the board. Like these are just FromSoft biomes. Like it's sticking true to its, roots, but nobody else does games like this. I just think this is just a masterclass in design and artistic vision and style and delivery, and the very minor minor change of adding X for a jump button. I don't know if you watched my first Let's Play. My first Let's Play was for
Dude, I was gonna
an hour
like
and
you were trying to get
50.
up this thing and you were using the horse to try and jump up. I'm like, Troy, do you realize you could just push X?
I played the game for an hour and 50 minutes and had no idea there was a jump button because I skipped the tutorial that I didn't see because I'm an idiot and I just run off without looking. But you start the game and you've got the option of dropping down to the right. There's even a dude there telling you to drop down to the right. I'm like, that guy can't tell me what to do. I'm off out the doors. So I'm off in the world and exploring for an hour and a half. Didn't even realize that X was a jump button. I was just baffled that all my interactions were no longer on X, but I didn't pair the two together because I'm a goose.
Especially as you've got like the jump attack, which is actually quite a powerful attack as well.
Which I haven't even used. It didn't even occur to me to make a jump attack attempt.
Now, do you remember and do you use the ability to double hand your weapons as well for extra damage?
No, because I don't know if you can
triangle then tap R1.
No, I understand what you're saying, that mechanic from previous games, but the way I play is a single-handed, like close range melee combat weapon in my right hand and my wand in my left hand. That's just the way I've developed my playstyle. I don't know if that's the way you're meant to do it, but that's the way I do it. So if you look there, I've always got my left hand glows and my right hand's got what do you call that thing? A mace? And I absolutely love it. I've just found this. I think they call it a fail, but I don't understand why. But to me, it's a mace. And I've just got this mace, and I've just upgraded a couple of times. It's just this brutal weapon that I love, and then I can cast spells. And predominantly, I'm using my spells to attack, as you'll see in this footage. I'm predominantly just throwing fireballs at people. But my God, this game has just bounced back. Oh, and the wolves, Steve, the wolves. I had no idea that this game enabled you to summon like creatures to help you. Like, this is a new element I had no idea about. It was you via SMS, mate. That was like, hey, Troy, you can summon wolves. Go back to this specific church, speak to this chicken, you'll get it. And I went back there, and it's totally changed the way I view the game and interact with the world. And it's a system that's it's opt-in and optional, and I never would have gone back to that church if you had told me. So, in theory, I could have gone the whole game without even understanding that, like, this really cool attack exists. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Such a good game.
And you can upgrade the wolves as well. So now my thing's like, I've just defeated one of the harder bosses down, I think it's one of the castle levels. I think it's right towards the bottom of the map. I'm trying to remember the name of the thing. It was Castle Morn, I think, down the bottom. There's a boss down there that you got to fight, and I sort of sick my wolves on him, and I think I beat him first go with my wolves because I just aggro him, and you can get in behind him, and I had my magic by that time as well. So I've now got a magic staff, and I can cast one of the early magic spells I got. Kind of similar to it's very similar to the ability we had in Demon Souls. So it's a very similar spell cast. You can cast it really fast. It's blue, and it does a lot of damage.
Oh,
so
like the soul, what are they called? Soul thing. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so I've been casting those, and they've been really good. So I've got a staff, but I usually rock my turtle shell shield for a lot of defensive stuff because I love that. I love the mechanic where you can just hold block, and then as soon as I hit you, hit R2 to just get that counter, and you get massive damage from that. And I've got a talisman attached now that does extra damage for that. I literally just found a talisman that increases, or that my health just regenerates now when I'm just walking around or fighting.
First question, Steve, what class did you pick, mate? Sorry, I'm just curious as to why you didn't start with magic. Which class did you go with?
No, I went exactly the same as you, man. I went with the Confessor, so I've got still rocking my very Bloodborne-esque cape, just like yourself there.
Yeah.
But it did somehow, in one of the very first dungeons in that first area, just defeated some smaller enemies with the little gnome guys, and I got one of those masks, and it is so powerful as a helmet. I haven't found anything since, and I've been fighting, like I've fought sort of what I think are harder enemies, and I haven't unlocked anything anywhere near as strong as this helmet that I'm wearing. So
that's wild, man. But with that class, how did you not? I don't understand how you didn't start with spellcasting as that class. I'm confused. I'm wondering what I did.
The only spells I had, so if you've got this flame spell, all I had was the stealth walking spell and then the healing spell. So I never had anything that actually cast fire. So
sorry, it's just twigged. And I've got a question to ask. Talk to me, Steve, about the hub world we were SMSing about. Now's the best time to clear this up. Tell me about the hub world with the spells. With the dogs, you said you could upgrade the dog.
Okay, so you find a female who's in a shack. I think it's one of the things that's called it's the Stronghold Shack or something like that. And before you come into the first castle and fight the first boss, there's like there's a bonfire there. You speak to her.
Yes.
She is then inside the hub world. She's obviously in like a little sort of Little Red Riding Hood
Pump the
kind of
brakes.
thing.
Hub world. How did you get to the hub world the first time?
I was brought there by her, I'm pretty sure. I think I spoke to her at a bonfire thing, and then I was just transported there.
Okay, yeah. So it is the same hub world, because I wasn't even sure whether we were going to two different hub worlds.
With the round table and all that, yeah?
Yeah. So
I did just find the chick that hugs you.
Ah, thank goodness! I thought I'd gone crazy. The funny thing I found about that is, man, I got her to take me to that hub world way early because I kept dying, and part of me wonders whether you didn't go to spellcast, like, because I died so frequently, so quickly. It was like I feel like it was my fourth visit to the bonfire that she's like, all right, mate, come on to the hub world, we'll sell you some spells. And then, you get in there and old mate gives you that fire spell for 800 or 600 souls.
So maybe I'm just going to buy it. That's all.
Yeah, that was my gameplay down to the ground, like, because from Demon Souls, like, I'm so used to being a firecaster mage, essentially, as soon as I got into that hub world and I saw old mate, I'm like, oh, here's 800 souls, give me the fire spell, and then I was off to the races, But that happened to me so early in the gameplay, but I was wondering whether we were in a different hub world, or maybe, because you're obviously such a better gamer than I am, maybe you didn't hit whatever the death count was required for her to offer to take you to the hub world.
Yeah, no. So if you want to upgrade your wolves, what you need to do is speak to her again, and she'll give you she'll give you like a little. She'll sort of give you some dialogue, and you'll go to the blacksmith again, and he'll say, "Oh, I think she's a good spirit tuner," and then you go back to her and you say, "He thinks you're going to be a good spirit tuner," and then you just reload yourself back into the hub, and then once all that sort of plays out, she will then be a spirit tuner, and you can go up to her and spend. You got to find some stuff in the open world, which you've probably found by now. Then you can spend your runes and stuff and upgrade your wolves. So I've now got my wolves up to level 3, so they just absolutely decimate, and they've got much more health. Awesome. So against bosses now and stuff, I've got like a level 4. I've still got the sword that I started with, and I've upgraded that to like level 4, and then it's got a magic attunement as well, so it does 100 normal damage plus 100 magic damage as well. And I can summon like a giant blue magic sword by holding. If I'm just holding the sword, then I hold down. I think it's L2. He charges up this massive sword, and it just comes down with a massive magic attack that just absolutely destroys enemies.
That's awesome, man. I love how different our experiences have been.
Yeah, like it's like, because you can go anywhere, you can create any kind of character you want. The amount of coding that must go into a game like this is ridiculous.
Yes.
Like the world itself is massive. It just, like, every time you think the map is at its biggest, it gets bigger and bigger. It goes left, it goes up, it goes down, it goes right. Like, it's just, I still don't think we've even seen anywhere near what this game is in terms of size. I think it's going to keep getting bigger from what I've heard as well.
Can I ask you, man, just on that point, do you prefer the Elden Ring way of doing that, where it starts with a very small limited map and you've got no idea the size, or do you prefer the Horizon 2 way of showing you the whole map but it's all fogged out until you unlock it?
I kind of like this, because you just never, like, the fact that you keep unlocking more. I'm like, oh my god, this game's huge, and then you're like, no, it's even bigger, and then you're like, oh my god, it's even bigger. Like, I like that discovery going. This game is ridiculously huge. Like, it's not Horizon. You saw that map and you go, okay, I'm only here, and it's still got this bit and this bit, and you're scanning left. Like, it's huge. But this thing, like, we don't know how big this is, because the fogged out areas are only the bits that you've gone to. It's not until you go even further and find the maps that it expands even further. So I don't know how big this thing's going to be. From all reports, though, from what I've heard, is like, just when you even think that the map's finished, it gets even bigger. So it's just, and it's the fact, it's not how wide it is. Like, the geography of the game, it's like you're up, you're down, like you're at the top of a mountain, you go down the cliffs. Like, the exploration of this game just has you going just in nooks and crannies, and you think, oh, I'm going to go down this path because there might be something down there, and usually there is something there. You get rewarded for your exploration. There's like tombs and dungeons with optional bosses, and they give you extra stuff for your character, and like, I just love the way the exploration feeds the gameplay as well, and vice versa. It's just like. And even just today, like, something simple that I just sent you a screenshot, like the fact that you're putting these blue markers down. Normally in any other game, they would just be on there, but it was casting a reflection on the ocean where I put it.
That was amazing. When I saw that screenshot, I don't even think I would have recognized it, but it's like you called it out. Like, look at the reflection. I'm like, oh my God, that's an amazing touch. Who even thinks to put that in a game? Like, I absolutely love it.
Oh, no, and just another nice touch, like the fact that every part of this world, as good as it looks and as good as the biomes look, you can go and flick to any different time of day. It's got 4 different times of day that you can flick to, and the world will look different in every single one of those.
Yes.
Plus, you've got weather effects like wind and stuff in the trees that just creates a nice atmosphere for the game as well. You've got this ever-impending doom of music that plays. It seems like a serial killer is about to kill you all this time. It's just eerie and just cool. I really like it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just everything about this game, apart from the fact that it crashed my console, is probably... It's probably my favourite game this year so far, and I'm going to find it very hard to put it down. I'm going to find it very hard to get beaten by any other game this year.
How do you think you're going to go with Horizon, like dual fisting Horizon and Elden Ring?
When you say again, I think this is going to be the exact same thing as what happened with me in Breath of the Wild. Like, Horizon's probably not going to get finished until I've put in, hundreds of hours into this and potentially even finish this. Like, I can see myself going back, because I did chuck it on today and I was like, this game is really pretty and I do like everything it's going about. Nothing that I said last week has changed about Horizon. I still think it's a phenomenal game and a really good game. Being able to explore this game without sort of, world and map markers, it's just refreshing. And I feel like I'm on this adventure with the character I'm playing. I'm not just being told to go here because the game's telling me to go there. So, now that it's back on my console, my console's not bricked. We'll call this game almost. This game's close to a 10 out of 10 for what it's giving me at the moment.
You and I both, mate. I'm so right there with you. I love the subtlety of the game. Sort of, I think, just to wrap up the thoughts, it's probably been really evident, but this game and everything about it is cloaked in mystery when you're in the world. You don't know how big the map is, where you are, where you're going, how far in you are. You don't know what the thing you just picked up is going to unlock. You don't know who this person you're about to talk to, is this going to lead to a good outcome, or is this going to end up, like, are they baiting me to go somewhere and get attacked by a monster? Like, there's just mystery left, right, and center in this game. And to me, as a gamer, that speaks to me at my core. I love constantly discovering mysteries.
And speaking of the mystery, just stuff like I came across today, just this, I don't know if you've come across any of these golden ghosts that just walk and you follow their footsteps. Have you found any of them yet?
I've got no idea what you're talking about. Tell me things.
There's this gold guy, you go to talk to him, he just walks away from you, you just see his golden footprints like sparkling, and you follow him. And I followed this guy all the way through the bush and down to a cave. And then in this cave was this like massive boss fight against a giant bear. And like you had a side of grace in there, so it was good. So you found a side of grace under there, so you could essentially go and fight this bear. And it took me probably 3 goes with my wolves, but eventually overcame this bear and got this ridiculous weapon from it, which I think I still need like 40 strength to be able to wield. But which is going to take me quite a while to do that. But just stuff like that, just like it's not a quest marker telling you to go here. It's just like your curiosity just sparks the adventure and you just follow this guy. I'm like, I don't have no idea what I'm walking into. And then to sort of discover what it actually is just incredible.
That's such a great phrase for this whole game, man. Curiosity sparks the adventure. I love the way you summed that up. That's a front of the box quote for me. Just on the wolves front, man, just you say you upgrade them and that's awesome. Here's a tip from the noob to you. The second spell I bought cast Fireball, but by default with our class, you spawn with Quick Heal. For, I want to say it was 1,000 souls or whatever they call them in this game. You can get it's just a heal, but it does like 1.25 meter circle around you. So if you stand next to your wolves and heal, you'll heal your wolves as well.
That is a good tip.
It's a pro tip, man.
Actually, I'll give you another pro tip. Have you found any of the extra flask stuff? Where you can give yourself a whole other flask and fill them with tears, so you give yourself a strength buff and stuff as well?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I still haven't killed the first boss, mate. Exactly what you just said. That's the old mechanic from, I want to say it's Dark Souls, the flask systems and the upgrades you can do to the flasks. I twigged to their existence in the world in the, I don't even know what you call them. It's like a little bug with a big bulb of hay on its back. It doesn't attack you at all and it runs off. But if you attack it and kill it, I guess it's a random chance to get you a flask upgrade. But
you need the golden seeds to get these. Your normal flask with your health, you can get the golden seeds. So I've got 5 health and 1. I've got 1 magic at the moment, but you get these extra flasks now as well that you fill with other stuff. Which is that what you're talking about? You get the extra
No. Pump your brakes and go back. The flask you're talking about first, that you can say, I want it to be full health or full mana or split it any way you want. You've got 6, have 3 mana, 3 health. That flask can be upgraded to give you more charges. Also, the second upgrade for it is that each use it gives you more replenishment of either health.
But then there's another flask.
I understand that. But the point I'm trying to make, man, is that these balls that exist just in the open world, these creatures, they have, it's a random chance, but what I've found is they can give you both of those upgrade materials for the flask. So what I've done for the first however many goddamn hours I've been playing it for, 8, 9, I can't even remember, I've given up on boss fights, and I am just going biome to biome looking for those ball things. And I've upgraded, I've got, I think I'm up to 6 charges of the flask, and I've upgraded the amount you get off the flask twice just by hunting these guys. They don't always give you the upgrade, but I've killed like 8 of them and pulled 3 upgrades from them. So it's a really good drop rate, and I'm not tackling any bosses. I'm not dying. I'm just traversing different biomes and looking for these guys in the world and upgrading my flask. And I figure I'll get to a point where I'm comfortable, then I'll go take on the boss.
Nice, mate. I reckon you're ready for that first boss.
I probably am, but I'm just enjoying so much all the different art styles of the different biomes. I'm like, yeah, your bosses are cool, but I've seen your cool bosses before. I have not seen this amazing artwork, you know? But you're right, man. Gameplay is king. I should get back there and get into the gameplay side of it a bit more.
Oh, mate, it's just, this is the most fun I've had with a game in a long time. And I've played a lot of good games and had a lot of fun, but this one's just got its hooks in.
This game is really something special. I can't recommend it highly enough to any gamer out there. This game just, if you've never played a FromSoft game, yeah, you're in for a world of hurt, but my God, if you push through the hurt, you're in for such a big reward.
That's the thing. This one at least gives you, like, in those other, Bloodborne, even if it's one of my favourite FromSoft games, like, you're on a linear path, and if you get stuck, you're stuck in that one area. This game, you can go off anywhere you like, and just, if you want to grind in an area that's slightly easier for you, do that. If you want to go try and fight a boss, do that. If you just want to go explore, you can do that. That's what the game is all about, just freedom and exploration. It's just, like, I can still recommend this to anyone. Yes, it's hard, and yes, you're going to hit roadblocks, but there are means to sort of get yourself around it. If you want to jump on YouTube, there's there'll be how to get good videos, how to get your character OP early if you want to do that. Stuff you want to do, whatever you need to do to enjoy the game, I just feel like just do it, because you're going to find a game that's highly enjoyable and easily one of the best this year. Absolutely.
Or you could take my route, listen to no one, read nothing, and just go get your teeth kicked in and have fun.
Yeah, that too.
That's an option if you're crazy. All right, now, game 2. We spoke about it briefly, but let's dive into it properly, shall we? Horizon 2. Steve, over to you, my friend.
Mate, I don't know if I've even I might have had a couple more hours since we spoke last week, but time has been poor. I can't even remember what I've done since the last time we spoke. I'm probably sitting about maybe 30 hours and going through the main quest. I'm currently on a beach area, which is I think the bit they showed in the E3 or whatever PlayStation demo thing they showed, but which is absolutely beautiful looking. As you've seen one of my screenshots from that area, which is quite pretty.
Phenomenal. Can I just say on that screenshot, it's phenomenal. No spoilers, but honest to God, it looks like you're standing in front of a nuclear explosion, and it's one of the best in-game photos I've ever seen. Sorry, mate, continue.
Oh, thank you, sir. I should probably get on to Sony about that one, get it published as one of these like photos. But no, it's such a good game. It's hard to sort of talk about this after speaking about Elden Ring with so much freedom and stuff. But the game is still absolutely beautiful. I will definitely go back to it. I'm enjoying Horizon Forbidden West way more than I ever did Zero Dawn, and I really liked Zero Dawn. So this game, I'm not sure. Like Elden Ring, I think will hold conversation till the end of the year for the game of the year. I think maybe if other games come out this, you might see Horizon slip out of the top 10. But for me at the moment, it's probably. I mean, what have we got? Maybe 3-4 games this year that I would consider
in the conversation.
10, in the conversation, and currently Horizon's in that, and it may well stay there. I just kind of feel bad for Horizon, given the fact that it's pretty much been Breath of the Wild again by Elden Ring. So it's literally the same thing has happened, where it's such a cool open world and such a good idea, such a beautiful game, and then something comes out that's exactly like Breath of the Wild, where it just piques that curiosity, and you get sucked out of one world into another. And I can't see myself going back to this until I've done Elden Ring, or at least put in another 200 hours into Elden Ring.
I'm 100% right there with you, man.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I can't speak sort of more highly of Horizon. Like I said, it's not a bad game by any means.
No.
But it's just there's the sense of exploration that I get in Elden Ring that, yes, this game has that, but it does also have those map markers. It's sort of Ubisoft-ish, but I mean, the side quests I think in this are really good. It's an open world, but it's slightly it's not trying to do what Elden Ring's doing. It's trying to tell you a pretty decent story with cutscenes, and it's giving you some of the best sort of side quests that you've had that I think open world games have done. And I think the combat is quite unique in the fact that the way you are taking on these robot dinosaurs that are very, like, the AI and these things are great. Like, they stalk you and they hunt you, and like, you got to be very careful. And it's very engaging and fun combat. It's just, Troy, it's just not Elden Ring.
I hear you, man. From my side, I put in another 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, and I did as you said, man. I got through past the intro area. I got the glider, so I saw the hook, man. And I tell you, it was right there. The hook was right here, pushing up against me, trying to get me in. And I said, no. Elden Ring will be mine. So I've seen it, man. The lure is there and it's beautiful, but I'm going to wait a few months before I actually go at it.
There's one thing I will say that Horizon does 10 times better than Elden Ring. I wish Elden Ring kind of did better. Is bow combat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a fair call, man. I do.
Using a bow in Elden Ring just never feels right. Like, you kind of feel like you have to go into that first-person mode and tap your different arrows and stuff. It never feels like, if you're just playing as a bow character, I just don't think it would be fun if that's your main build. Whereas, obviously, Horizon's based on that bow combat. So I don't know how you would work these kind of mechanics into a game like Elden Ring, but like, even just jumping back into Horizon quickly today just to make sure my save worked. I was out there with my bow and stuff. I'm like, this just feels good to play, and that's Horizon. That I think they've nailed just the feeling of Aloy now, and I think you'll probably get a third one of these games if Guerrilla Games decides to make another one, which I think they will.
Definitely. Well, obviously neither of us know how this game ends. Maybe it ends in a way that's clearly not. Who knows? I doubt they would cut off Horizon 3 potential.
Can I just say how fun it is to watch you trying to platform your way up this structure right now?
Dude, I have no idea how to play this game.
I was going to say, because I did this. I was almost going to bring this satellite, because this is your first thing trying to get on top of that long neck, and it's not just like the last game you sort of had to get to the top of them. And in this game, you actually have to get through some kind of puzzle aspect before you can get up it. And I'm looking at this, what you need to do, and I know exactly what you need to. It's so frustrating to talk to you. I'm like, Troy, use the goddamn letter.
The funny thing is, man, I am playing this now off the back of Dying Light 2. I kept hitting L1 to try and parkour up stuff, and I'm like jumping apart. I'm like, oh no, it's wrong game. So
it's very hard sometimes playing. And then you've got stuff like Seafood. Like, for me, I jumped back into Seafood today. I started hitting R1 and L2 to attack because I've been playing Elden Ring, and I was like, oh god, what in my head? Thank God I finished this game last week, because I would be struggling right now.
So any further thoughts? Excuse me.
We can move on.
I just want to say this, reiterate it again. I absolutely love what I've seen of Horizon 2. I can't wait to get back to it. From everything I've seen, yes, absolutely in Game of the Year contention, but I'm not going to get back to it before I've finished Elden Ring. So honestly, we're a couple of months away from me presenting any more coverage of Horizon 2 on the channel. But don't take that as a knock against Horizon 2. Just take it as props to Elden Ring.
That's right.
All right, games.
But again, I was just going to say, screw Elden Ring. Screw Elden Ring. It crashed my console.
Oh, yeah, I would be out for blood if it nuked my console. Oh, and sorry, just a random thought. Isn't that the exact same issue that Returnal had at the start? That save file corrupting nuking consoles?
Yeah, there was. That's that, only just never copped. Thankfully, but
that's only just come back to me. But that, to me, is a developers sharing knowledge about a platform-specific issue, whereby, like, Housemarque at the time a first-party developer, or were they second-party when they built Returnal?
Pretty sure they got bought after Returnal.
Yeah, I think they got bought after Returnal, so they're not an internal party at that time, which makes sense. But it's like, once they're an internal party and they've solved on a PS5, the gotcha is this. So when you're dealing with save files, make sure you import this library and execute this function. That sort of knowledge needs to be distributed to every developer working on the PlayStation 5. Clearly that information didn't get to FromSoft. Then the issues presented itself. And at that point, I reckon Sony would have put them in contact with Housemarque and been like, they had this exact problem. You can patch this in 2 hours. Just go speak to them.
Yep. Hopefully they keep improving it.
Yeah, but the only unfortunate bit about that, I'd say, is, man, that speaks to my concern since the start of COVID, as they have not ramped up the QA, the quality assurance testing of games in this pandemic work from home world. No one's mastered it yet. And this issue reoccurring on the PlayStation 5 an entire year after it had already been solved by another developer, just in my mind speaks more to that developers need to be more speaking with Sony. Sony need to be checking more known issues with the PlayStation 5, as they saw in Returnal. That part of their verification process for game testing now should be that save file, that fix is implemented. Even if you haven't seen the error, of it console crashing and wiping hard drives, even if you haven't seen that symptom, part of their quality assurance needs to ensure that whatever that fix for Returnal for the save file was, is implemented in all games. Like, that just has to be tested before they release it.
As good as the game is, that's the thing. Elden Ring's getting 10s across the board. It's one of the highest scores on Metacritic and OpenCritic, sitting at 97, 96. And it doesn't matter how good the game is, if it's if it ruins people's save files, which it seems like it's done. That was the experience for a lot of gamers. And
100%.
For me, if my save file was gone, I don't even know if I would have been able to jump straight back in because of how it would have made me feel. So they may have lost a player in me if that had happened. I'd probably continue to play, but there would always be that in the back of the mind. I'd always be thinking about that thing that happened to me. So it's a massive problem, and they need to make sure they get onto it.
Absolutely, mate. I couldn't agree more. And to your exact point, man, back in the day, I don't know if you remember Mass Effect 2 on the Xbox 360, but when it first launched, it had a game save eating bug, and I lost, I believe it was 6 hours. God, that's going back a lot of years now, but I think it was a 6-hour save file that got deleted on my 360, and that put me off playing Mass Effect 2. I had to wait 2 months before I redid that opening 6-odd hours, if you lose that save, it does push the game off down the road. You're completely correct.
It's a weird thing to say because, a lot of people would say, playing games is a waste of time anyway. But it's weird to think when you do put that time in and that time is wasted, and you feel like, oh, well, I literally did just spend that time playing this game to get, the endorphins going, and because I enjoy it and really relaxes me. And to lose that progress, it's devastating.
Yeah, it really is, man. And to that point, this is a known issue in the industry. It has been for decades at this point. How is it not critical of Sony to verify that the game is going to apply the correct process before releasing it? I don't understand how Elden Ring was allowed out the gate with that issue on PlayStation. That, to me, is a red flag. Sony, really, you need to double down on your investments on QA before you release games. This is not acceptable. And this is, from what I would say, this is Sony's responsibility. Yes, the developers should get it right, but it is Sony's responsibility, if you're releasing it on the PlayStation 5, that they're protecting the image of the PlayStation 5, because that is a negative experience for the entire console, not just Elden Ring. It's so vital that they get it right. I'm surprised that this was allowed to happen, to be honest.
No, absolutely. And I think there's a story coming up soon, but I think the patch they actually released actually made the game worse in some aspects in terms of its frame rate and stuff as well. So fingers crossed they continue to patch this game and get it working properly for everyone.
And wind your mind back, Steve. I don't know if you remember, but that was the exact response that Returnal had as well. They are doing the exact same Returnal. Oh, we patched it, but we broke this other thing. Now we have to release a second patch. It just... There are warning signs as precedent. It shouldn't have happened. It's unfortunate that it happened to what I would argue is maybe the best game of the year so far. Anyway, what's next? Game 3 today. Oh, here it is, everyone. Look at that. There it is, the completion screen. I finished the story mode of Dying Light 2. There it is, the big congratulations. Now go and explore this world. Here's what I've got for you, Steve. Talking about large and unexplored maps. I finished Dying Light 2, and there are if you'll accept the term or the phrase states, I don't know why I think of them as states, but in that map in the Metro map in Dying Light 2, it's got the different sections. I've finished the game and there were 3 full sections of content that I haven't even touched. They have such a massive map, such a massive world. It's speaking back to their point, if you remember pre-launch, their marketing was 500 hours to see the whole game. And then you wrap up the single-player story, I don't know, call it 27 hours. You're like... And then there's 3 whole states that I haven't even been. I'm like, these guys, Techland, have pre-planned their DLC content, and to me, they have a 12-month roadmap of support that they haven't released and they're keeping mum on. But if you look at that map and see where it is when you finish the single player, I'm like, you can see they clearly have a lot of room to move in the map as it exists. So many stories they can tell. I think Dying Light 2 might surprise people by the end of the year. Assuming I'm right, I could be wrong, obviously, but it looks to me...
Troy, there's no way you're wrong. Like, they supported Dying Light 1 up until last year.
Yeah, right? So you can already see that the world as it exists now is more than they've released, the story content for. So I can't even imagine the amount of DLC this game's going to get. And the fact that the state already exists and they've just got to drop in, the specific NPCs and whatever, like... a lot of the work's already been done, like it's okay, position an NPC here, add this dialogue structure and put the objective here and make sure the player can guess it, QA test it and out the door with it. Like, we are talking about potential short burst, iterations of new quests and constant releases into the world that already exists. I see such an open door here for strong developer support. I am really jacked up on Dying Light 2. And for me, as a physical collector, and I'm going to go for the prop, why not? It's right here. For me, as a physical collector with this Dying Light 2, I would normally say, I've finished the story, I've got Elden Ring, there's going to be hundreds of hours there, there's Horizon, there's hundreds more hours. I should trade Dying Light 2 in, to get whatever the next big game is. I'm not going to do it. Based solely on not what the developers said anywhere, what the developer has delivered. They have made it clear to me as a gamer that they intend to support this strongly. My response to them, I'm not going to trade the game. I'm right there with you, Techland. I'm going to be there and go on this ride. I love the single-player campaign. Everyone should play it and experience it. There's emotional resonance where I don't expect it. Did you know the actress was the chick out of Death Proof?
I did.
I had no idea whatsoever. And then she just said a line, and it was just her cadence on one line.
Rosario Dawson. Was it Rosario Dawson?
Oh, I'm terrible with names now. I got no idea. I just remember the film they were in.
The actress is Rosario Dawson.
Brilliant actress. I didn't know it was even her, but then she said one thing later on in the game, and I'm like, oh my God, I know that voice. Looked at, it's her, of course. Her performance in the game across the board is phenomenal. They have good characters, good story, and they have way more story to tell in this map. So, I don't know, maybe even if you haven't gone to Dying Light 2 yet, wait 6 months, pick it up in the $20 bin, but I swear in 6 months we're going to have way more content for that game, and I'm excited by it.
Agree, mate. I see you've unlocked the hookshot thing as well, which I have not yet unlocked, which I believe is a story unlock, which I can't wait to and upgrade that so I can be Spider-Man swinging through the Dying Light City.
That Spider-Man swing is phenomenal, man, but I don't know if it's going to be here in the footage, but my go-to move now, I don't even care about the weapons and the weapon durability. You do the grapple hook, any enemy, like level 6, I'm level 6 now, which as far as I know is the top level in the game.
I've got level 9 weapons at the moment.
Oh my God. So I've finished the story and I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen an enemy or an item beyond level 6.
I think that's kind of like I've went to an area where you're not supposed to go to so early because it's underwater, and I've managed to find chests that I can unlock while I'm underwater. They all have level 9 like gear and weapons.
Wild. Anyway, so I haven't even seen that stuff, but at level 6, I can tell you, man, any enemy, like a big enemy who'd be really hard to take on in several hits, you do the grapple hook, you bring him to you, and then if you unlock it, obviously, there's the so you've got to unlock the ability to pull him in the parkour, skill tree, but then in the attacking skill tree, there's the head stomp move, and so I can
just unlocked, actually.
I can pretty much one-shot anyone in the game now. I just grapple any enemy and then square straight on their head, they're dead. I can just walk into a room and grapple, shot, stomp, grapple, shot, stomp, grapple, stop, stomp, grapple, stop, stomp, and I'm done.
Nice.
And nowhere, like, and it's so fun, man. It's so enjoyable, so rewarding. But I didn't even unlock that pairing of skill until after I'd finished the story. Like,
oh wow, I'm enjoying your character as well. Very lumberjack.
It's
completely different to my guy.
I think that might be the NPC, mate. But I absolutely love it. I can't speak highly enough of Dying Light 2. I just don't feel like there's been enough high praise of it across the board. I'm not seeing enough people pump up its tires, which I think is disappointing. I'm worried that this game is going to get lost in the mix for some people, but to anyone out there, if you like open world games, Dying Light 2, for me, it's a must play. It's
mate, yeah.
It's a reference.
Get in there.
It'll be a reference point, I think, for gaming for the next 10 years. Like,
I think so too. It's going to be hard to play a first-person game that doesn't have the freedom of movement that this game has.
Yeah, and anyone who tries to do parkour in future, this game will be the one they point back to. Did you do it as well as Dying Light 2? Like, it is the gold standard, the high watermark of freedom of movement in the game. It's phenomenal. I love what they've done. All right, that's enough for Dying Light 2, unless you had anything else, Steve?
Nah, not at all. I think I feel like an idiot now because I definitely see that was an NPC, and your character is Aiden, so he looks the same for everyone.
Oh, good man. All right, here we go. Game 4. Destiny 2. Now, this is, of course, content from the Witch King. Witch Queen. What is the content called, Steve? Help me out.
Witch Queen, that's the one.
The Witch Queen. It's phenomenal. I've only put in an hour because it's the first sort of mission set they give you for free, and then you hit the paywall.
So you have done a little bit of it.
So I have done a little bit of it. And I got to say, man, the visuals in this, like much to what I was saying about Elden Ring of their visual style, it is phenomenal the way they have changed the look of Destiny 2. Destiny 2 doesn't look like Destiny at all anymore. It is this fantastic new visual treat. I didn't know they were doing these kind of visuals in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
It's such a new
you should say that. Like, my first thing playing on, my first note that I wrote down was, this looks like Dark Souls.
Yeah, it really does.
So it's a different aesthetic for it, and you do sort of there's a lot of white and stuff, which for me I was like, it's not boring, but the way I've played a bit further on, and the way they meld sort of this area here, which is sort of keeps it simple, keeps it classic, then it melds into more of like a naturalistic like world where the grass and everything's taken over and stuff, and it does it really well. You really kind of have like an aha moment where you're like, oh my God, this is what they're doing, and this all the stuff before just complements that, and just all the cathedrals and the castle, and it's just such a different look for Destiny. I think this is, and so far for me, the story and the way all the stuff they've added for the gameplay stuff and the crafting of weapons, I think this essentially is Destiny 3. I think what they've created and what they're sort of moving towards. I think the raid comes out like March 5th or something like that. So raids are something I've never sort of been high-powered enough to actually get into. You do get your character sort of automatically leveled up to, I think, 1350 to start the game. So all your stuff from the previous game is kind of...
Wait, hold on. Just on that point. On that point, man, why do they boost you to, 1350, and then the recommended level for the first level of the content is 1360? Are they joking? Why not start you at the level of new content? Anyway, back to you.
I thought you do unlock gear pretty quickly that does get you up to that 1360 score, so it's not all that bad. And like the good thing for me is I've got some really good weapons from the previous seasons and stuff, and I've got upgrades. Anything that I pick up, I can actually turn my current weapons into that level, but I won't do that yet because I obviously know that the level cap's going to go much higher. I don't want to waste my upgrade material now. But mate, as soon as you start playing Destiny, there's something about the gameplay and first-person shooting that it's unparalleled by any other game. Like, it just feels so much better than any other first-person shooter to actually play and shoot. That, like, even for me, I think when I started playing this, I was in the middle of doing Horizon, still doing Sifu, and I chucked it on, and my first reaction was, I don't really feel like doing this, but within like 3 minutes, I was just sucked in and just playing the first campaign mission straight into the second campaign mission. I couldn't stop playing. So it's just like it doesn't take long for that Destiny hook just to come back in. So if Elden Ring wasn't sort of out right now, I'd probably be thinking a lot more time into this. But and I always keep forgetting that it's there, and I've obviously got to reinstall it now because my console's deleted all my games.
Oh my God! And Destiny, isn't Destiny like 170 gig or something?
It's no, I think it's about a 100 gig install, so it's
Oh, I'm
decent.
thinking about
It
Call of
may, it
Duty. I'm
may
an idiot. I was thinking about Call of Duty. Sorry.
Call of
Yeah.
Duty. This is still big. Like, and I didn't actually check my file size after the most recent expansion. But good thing about Destiny is everything is saved in the cloud. So as soon as you load
Yeah.
your game up, it does pick it up in the Destiny servers. So I'm not worried about that. It's just last night I had my 3 priority installs, and this will eventually make it on. And when I say eventually, I'll probably hit install it tonight. So I'll have this available for a day off tomorrow, and potentially give this a go tomorrow if I can peel myself away from Elden Ring. That is.
Nice work, man. And 2 points I wanted to make. The second one's about the controller, and remind me because I'm going to forget. But the first one is what I really dug, and obviously this is pure speculation from me. They've got an entire story. I don't know what this, is this campaign 8 hours, 10 hours? I don't know what story there is trying to tell. But in the first hour in playing this level, and to exactly your point to what you were saying earlier, man, about it's all about the narrative I'm talking about is light versus darkness. It's the light of you as the guardian versus the darkness of the enemy. But to your visual point, man, every single frame that you're going to see in this footage shows you both light and dark. The visual direction for the game matches the narrative beautifully. In every frame, you are looking at contrast between light and dark, and in every line of dialogue, they're talking about the light and dark. I absolutely love the way they've married the narrative to the visual style.
I was going to say, as you mentioned with the narrative, how they tied in, it's the whole the darkness has captured the light, and they've got their own version of your whatever you call it, guilty ghost. I was going to say guilty spark. But yeah, your ghost. They've captured it, and there's that whole story and intrigue about how they've managed to capture the light, and that's sort of it's feeding the intrigue into the story. So I think, Bungie's finally sort of, hitting their straps when it comes to story with Destiny as well. Yes, it's hard to understand a lot of the stuff that's going on if you haven't played all the other campaigns as well. And, for someone just jumping into the game, it might not be the best place to jump in. But I think, it's not for those people. I think, Destiny's going to always be, for the hardcore players that have been on it from the start. But I mean, at the same token, the gameplay is that fun. You could jump in, and if you've got all the expansions, you've got so much game to play that I don't think no one's going to be mad if they don't know what's going on in the game. Because to be honest, sometimes I don't even play games for the story. If the game's fun to play, I'm playing the game because it's fun to play.
Yeah, man, totally. I agree with you completely. I would counter your point, though, man. I am not up on Destiny 2 lore at all. I purchased and played a little of the last 2 expansions, but honestly never really got into them, delved into them, or understand Destiny 2's narrative and me are so I've got no idea what's going on in the world, but I played this for an hour today and was totally enthralled in their new story. I don't think it matters if you've never played any of other Destiny 2 before. If you started Destiny 2 now and started with this campaign, you are getting a red hot story that explains itself beautifully. There's a bunch
you really
of,
are.
but you don't need any of it. You can this game feels I think you may have mentioned it. This game feels like Destiny 3, but even from a narrative standpoint, I'm saying you can come in clean to Destiny 3 if this was it, and it doesn't matter if you haven't played Destiny 1 and 2. The story is self-contained and beautifully told. And yes, they've elevated the way they tell their stories. You're coming in hot. If you come into this game now, you're in for a real treat.
Yeah, no, agreed. So, if you've got some time, you've got some cash, jump in Destiny. It's one of the best feeling first-person shooters you can play currently.
Yeah, and if you thought the worlds before were a bit barren and a bit bland, they've answered that criticism in spades here. It's the most diverse and interesting, biomes I've seen in Destiny. Sorry, the second point, the controller. I've said a few times recently on the podcast that the DualSense 5 isn't really doing it for me, or I'm not. I'm a bit, old news. Putting Destiny 2 in and then shooting the guns was the first time I realized that I had gone into the PlayStation 5 settings and turned all the effects down to weak. I did this months ago and totally forgot that I'd done that. So for every comment I made in the last couple of months about the DualSense 5 not doing it for me anymore, write me off as an idiot. I had gone in and backed those settings off to save my old man fingers, which has worked a treat. But then in firing Destiny 2 up today, I instantly went, oh my God, this is not how Destiny 2 felt. I've done something, went in and realized, oh my God, put the effects back up to strong. And as soon as I did that, I was like, oh my God, this DualSense controller is phenomenal. I'd forgotten how good it was when it's set to strong. The counterpoint to that, though, man, after an hour of gameplay with those set to strongs, my old man hands have been killing me all day, and I've got to set it back to weak. So those controllers are phenomenal if you can play it at strong, but for old man hands like me, it's a treat I've got to go without. I can't have it in my gaming diet. It's no good for me.
Nah, fair call.
So that's it for Destiny 2. Steve, any closing thoughts? Any other thoughts?
No closing thoughts. We've already gone very long. We've got a lot of show to go.
Oh, we do. Long. Good. All right, let's move along. Sifu. This is Sifu. I still haven't passed level 2. The permanent unlocks are really starting to open up the gameplay. I'm really enjoying my new skills and abilities and the way the combat evolves as you do it. However, I haven't put a whole lot of time into it and I'm still stuck on level 2. I'm enjoying it. It's a great unlock system and it's a great palate cleanser game. It's, go and play Elden Ring for 4 hours and then put in Sifu for like 1 or 2 runs, just to cleanse your palate at the end is what it's perfect for. But that's kind of all my updates. So entirely over to you, Steve.
Yeah, well, Troy, you say you just jump in there for a quick go. I did that the other day and managed to finish the game again. I was like, I'm just going to have a quick run. I'll get to the end of the level, and I managed to get to the last boss. And I've now increased my the age limit that I finished the game on. So I've managed to finish the game at age 46 now.
Oh wow, nice work!
Which gave me a trophy as well, finish it under the age of 50. So I thought I was good when I played my very first game of this, and I managed to finish the first boss at age 39.
Yeah.
And now that I'm finishing the game at age 46, I'm thinking that's probably a better,
That's amazing.
Scenario.
And sorry, what did you say the platinum was at? Is it 25 or 35?
Yeah, so there's a trophy for finishing the game at 25 or under, which is very hard. So I think I got to the last level at age 41.
Mm-hmm.
So I only managed to lose 5 ages between sort of the start of that level and the boss, which is actually not that bad, but I'm going to have to tighten it up a fair bit. I've managed to put a lot of effort into weapon durability because towards that last boss, if you can carry a bow staff into there, it really helps you sort of parrying his attacks for that first phase. And then if you do well enough in that phase, then you can carry through the bow to the second phase of his fight and then just keep it for a little bit, which does help quite a bit. But that last boss he's completely different to all the other bosses you've fought. You can't use any of your special moves against him, your L2 moves.
What?
So because he essentially just fights just like you. So
oh my god, that's my go-to. Like if you've taken that off me as well, I've got no chance.
Yeah, you take it off him, but there are ways to sort of counter that. You've got to be aggressive in your blocking in his first phase. You just got to essentially just tap L1 just to block a lot of his things, and then you try and hit him when you can, and it'll build up his meter pretty quick. And that's sort of the best way to fight him. In the second phase, you're all about dodging and just countering when you can, and that ground counter is where it's all at. Because if he trips you over, hold that L1 and trip him over and just get a few cheap ones. But oh, mate, this game, like, I didn't expect to even be able to, like, when I got to that second boss, just like you're at now, I never thought I was going to even defeat him. And then the bosses get harder after that. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to finish this. And the fact that I can now do a run in, hour and a half and then finish the game at age 46, I'm like, it really is repetition makes you better in this game. And yes, I've unlocked a few more abilities and stuff, but it's more so the way I play the game and just the muscle reaction and stuff, which is probably going to be ruined by Elden Ring now. But, Just I can't speak more highly of this game. Like if it wasn't for Elden Ring, this would probably almost be top runner for game of the year for me.
Nice.
Whether now that if that's the problem with this, I probably would be going for the platinum if Elden Ring wasn't out right now because there's a lot of trophies there. I think I'm sitting at 48% of the trophies now, and I looked at a lot of the stuff, and I'm getting close to a lot of it.
Yep.
So. Yeah, but I might have to come back to it sort of once my teeth have been sunk well and truly into Elden Ring. But I don't see this game being taken off my console. Yes, because I love it, and yes, because it also doesn't take up a lot of hard drive space on the PS5. So I don't need to speak much more. We've spoken probably 2 weeks straight of how good Sifu is. I just wanted to update everyone the fact that I've now managed to finish the game at age 46, and fingers crossed I can do it slightly better than that in the future.
Great work, mate. Come into the studio. We've got to get one of those on stream, buddy, before the skills atrophy.
I'll finish the game for you. We'll get you that trophy just for finishing it at least.
Yeah, let's do it, Steve. I'm all about it. Okay, that's it for game interrogation and deliberation, which means only one thing, Steve. We are going to kick in a new door, and it's... You have the right to remain newsworthy. Kicking us off this week, IGN brings us the story. Sony Pictures CEO calls Uncharted a new hit movie franchise for the company. Ding, 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 Steve, we have a winner.
Oh, we do. We did sing its praises last week, and it's good to see that the money has been rolling in for the Uncharted movie with 100 million at the box office worldwide in its first weekend. The fact that I'm hearing that word franchise just gets me very, very happy because I just can only see this franchise getting better and better as the more it goes on. I think we've now established Nathan Drake. I think we're ready to, essentially just do what Uncharted 2, the game, did for the series as well, and just go from a good game to an amazing game, an amazing series. So I think the relationships have started to build with Drake and Sully through Sam and through Marky Mark and Spider-Man, what's his name? Tom Holland. I think their chemistry is perfect, and it's only going to get better the more movies they do, and they'd be mad not to make this. Tom Holland obviously brings in that much money with Spider-Man. It's crazy to think how much money this poor kid, or this not poor kid, this rich kid's now earning because he's probably the hottest thing in Hollywood at the moment. So Sony's onto a winner here. They'd be mad not to make more movies because they're only going to make them more money. The fact that this movie, speaking to so many people that aren't even just Uncharted fans, they're just people going to see Tom Holland essentially because they love Tom Holland. And let's face it, I'm in love with Tom Holland as well.
Oh, little romance. February 14th just passed. I'm right there with you, though, man. I love everything about it. And 2 big thumbs up to Sony. Congratulations. And I can't wait to watch Uncharted 2 in the cinemas. All right, news story 2. Elden Ring. Bandai Namco apologised for the performance issues. Steve, that was directly to you, man. Did they apologise before or after nuking your console?
I believe it was before. So I believe they owe me another apology now.
Indeed.
I did actually see, I'm playing the game, I can forgive some of the frame rate stuff. I'm a bit of a tech phobe when it comes to my frame rates. I like them smooth and silky. And Elden Ring does have a few sort of frame hitches here and there. It's got some pop in. It's got some pop in as well.
Sorry, can I just circle way back? I meant to say this during the Elden Ring conversation. You just prompted me. I just want to point out the potential, as we brought up a couple of weeks ago, about the server attacks that are ongoing for Bandai Namco, their Elden Ring servers. I wouldn't be surprised if in 6 months or so we get the news story that says a lot of these performance issues we're seeing on Elden Ring aren't anything to do with the coding. I suspect their online infrastructure is under constant attack, as we're seeing with other events in the news. Online attack is pretty hot right now. I think what we're actually witnessing is Bandai Namco staving off a denial of service attack, and I think it's an oversight in coding whereby they've said, update the game world, check for player input, but then they've also put a server ping in there, and I reckon it's the delayed response of the server that's causing some of the visual downgrade. Like, the whole system just waits. What's the server got to say? Oh, nothing, keep going. But I reckon some of those frame rate pauses are no response from the Bandai Namco servers due to an undisclosed attempt at a denial of service attack that was alluded to a couple of weeks ago. I suspect some of these issues may clear up when they secure their servers, more so than a specific game patch, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was going to say that is possible because, I did just today again, after I've reinstalled everything, I just had my game just dropped down. It was like, you've lost contact to the Elden Ring servers. I was like, okay, then it took forever. I didn't want to quit out of the game just in case I caused a corruption to my save file or whatever. So I just let it run. And eventually, I think it was 5 minutes I let it run and eventually booted back into the game. I literally didn't lose any. I was literally in the exact same spot I was in the game. So that gave me sort of a little bit of pause to think, this is okay. If it does happen in the future, I'm fine. I'm not going to lose a save. I'm just going to end up where I am. But same token, FromSoft, not really known for their engine and their stability. Bloodborne doesn't run, never ran well. Dark Souls has never really run that well. And it is, as far as I know, it is the same engine they're running this game on that they've run on, probably a better version of it. But and it's not like it looks anywhere near as good as something like the Blue Point Demon Souls remake.
Nowhere near it.
It could be a combination of both. But hopefully they just continue to, whether it's denial of service stuff, whether it's just them knowing their engine and introducing patches that stops a lot of these frame rate hitches. And I'm not that like I don't really care too much about the pop-in stuff. Like sometimes it's egregious, sometimes it's in the background. You barely notice it with the stuff that you're playing in the moment anyway. But the frame rate hitches and frame rate drops, I do notice a fair bit in a game that's sort of so specific when it comes to movement and frames, and we're fighting bosses and dodging and all that stuff. You don't want those frame hitches in those moments because that can cause frustration as well. So
absolutely.
I hope they get on top. I hope they get on top of it. The game's that massive that I imagine they're working on it constantly to try and get it as best as they possibly can. And let's hope any patches they bring in the future don't crash my console again.
That's true. Oh, and sorry, I'll just say a bit of proof in the pudding, verify my experience for yourself. Pay particular attention in game to the amount of times you get a frame rate drop and then a world invasion. That's my assertion.
Oh, I haven't noticed.
Yeah, pay close attention, man, because you can be in an open world, an area you've already been with no frame rate hicks. You go to the same spot and get invaded, and then you see that stutter. That's the server talking to you. Someone's coming into your world. Hold on, more data coming in from the server. So that is the sort of empirical evidence that I'm going off that's suggesting I think maybe it's a server-side issue causing the frame rate drop, not something in the way they've coded the game and the way it exists on your console.
Yeah, okay, no, it could make sense. So, either way, I hope they fix it because, we just want to make the best. We just want to make the best game even better.
Yeah, 100%. All right, story 3 for today. Oh, look, Elden Ring ad. No, the story is first look the headset design for the PlayStation 2 VR. My goodness. Look at those hand grips, knowing that it's DualSense. I keep wanting to say DualSense 5, knowing that it's got the triggers, the haptic feedback, all the goodness. And as you can see there, the inside-out tracking, the camera's looking forward, so you won't need the camera looking at you. The headset does it all itself. Very exciting, mate. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm very excited. The fact that we've finally got joysticks on this thing, we don't have to use the stupid wands and those controls are just horrendous. And the fact we're not worrying about a camera or anything like that, I'm not sure what it does for backwards compatibility and stuff like that. Because they've got some really good games on the PlayStation VR. So I don't know how they're going to tweak controls potentially for some of that, because if you're releasing a VR2...
I don't believe that'll be an issue at all. I expect that'll be a standard library patch, and that the library that facilitates PlayStation VR 2 will include the code that does the conversion. So I don't even think that developers will need to touch it.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think I'm going to call it now. I think we see this before the end of the year.
Whoa, that's a big call.
Yeah, I think the fact that we're seeing it this early in the year, I think, and I don't think they need to wait till they've got more PS5s in the, out in people's homes and stuff like that. Yes, they're struggling to make them, but I mean, people who have got a PS5 already are probably going to buy this thing, and then this thing can just sort of run next to the PS5, and they're just going to, by the time they get more PS5s, they can get this thing. They don't need to hold off on selling this thing, I think, till they got more PS5s in the wild. I think they can just bring it out. People who've got PS5s, people looking for some new tech are going to buy this. Yeah, I reckon we'll see it before the end of the year, Troy, and I reckon the fact that they've already advertised the Horizon game for it, I believe that game's probably well into development, and I think that's going to be the launch title, and I think, I reckon you'll see this before Christmas this year.
That's a big call, man. I like your bullish attitude on it. For me, I just can't see the resource constraints letting this one get out the door. To me, this feels very much like a marketing test bed. Hey, how many people are interested? How much fire can we light online by releasing these sort of images? I think this is very much a... excuse me, checking the temperature of the room. How keen are people for this? How much do we need to accelerate our timeline? But I'm not seeing a whole lot of buzz about it. Like, I'm excited for it. I'm a tech geek. I love this sort of stuff. It's me down to the ground. But I think from a general, just a news story element, the comments on these sort of stories aren't high. I'm not seeing a whole lot of user interest in the VR2, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's like that, but I think once it comes out, if the experience, is getting good reviews and there's some good games for it, especially the backwards compatibility stuff, if they, can, with hopefully the Spartacus things comes out and you get, not just your PlayStation hits, but your PlayStation VR hits, and all of a sudden you can load up your PlayStation VR 2 with a whole bunch of these awesome games for essentially for free for your subscription service. I can see it doing really well, and I think, most people that have had the PS5 since the end of 2020 may want something like this. Yes, it's still got a cable, and for me, I mean, I've been spoilt with the Oculus Quest 2 and not having to be tethered at all is just insane when it comes to the VR experience. But I think what PlayStation can bring to the VR is their sort of first-party games, is that graphic fidelity that comes from the PS5 into a VR headset. And now that you've got your joysticks and stuff like that, yeah, I can see myself playing this. But I mean, it's real hard to play games in VR when you are playing something on your TV that does look so good. To sort of be drawn to that VR and spend hours in it can be quite disorientating and quite sickening for some people as well. So to have those longer experiences, I find quite hard. So it is those bite-sized games that I think do find themselves better on PlayStation VR 2. There's a reason why stuff like Beat Saber and stuff's done so well in the past, because you can jump in, jump out. The game's like awesome fun, and no matter how many games come out or how good they are or how good the experience is or how long it goes, most people are going to probably jump back into those smaller experiences anyway. So I'm not sure what PlayStation brings to the party when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like if you are releasing these massive games, like even if the new Astro's in this, like I really enjoyed the Astro's Playroom, whatever that came with the PlayStation 5, but can I see myself sitting in a VR headset for 10 hours playing the sequel to it? Probably not.
Yeah, well, just recall your experience with Half-Life Alyx 2, man. How did you feel? Because you sort of played that for an hour, if memory serves. At the end of that, do you feel you could have kept going, or were you like, okay, an hour's enough?
That's funny to say, even going on what I just said, but that was such a good experience. But I think I enjoyed it so much because I sort of had you there and the fact that we were sort of doing a thing and that was enjoyable. I don't know if I was by myself how long I'd want to spend in that scenario.
Yeah.
But that being said, that's probably still up to this day the best VR experience I've had. So if I had games of that caliber, I can see myself being drawn in the PlayStation VR 2. But I mean, it's, again, not sure what kind of games we're going to get in that. And again, I do like just sitting back on a sofa at the end of a hard day at work and just being able to relax. And as soon as you chuck a VR headset on and you're standing up and you're moving, you're not really relaxed.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree, man.
But you're not relaxed.
Yeah. You know me, I love to have a coffee. A coffee is mandatory for me before a VR experience, but I can get up in the morning and turn on the PlayStation 5, sit back on the couch without a coffee just fine. But you're right. VR does take a higher level of commitment. But don't take anything I'm saying wrong. I cannot wait for the PSVR 2. I want to be there day one, assuming we can get our hands on supply. I hope it. I wish, if I had my wish, it would be out tomorrow and, we'd be picking it up and playing with it. Don't get me wrong. I cannot wait. And I'm fully there day one. Sony, sign me up, please. But I'm
Troy, you'll have it for a Christmas present this year. Don't you worry.
Oh, that'd be nice. I just don't see the world at large letting something this cool come out this year. I just can't see it happening. I would love to be wrong on this one, but I am not holding my breath.
Mark my word, Troy, if this doesn't come out before the end of the year, I will buy you a game of your choice.
I'm going to clip that bit up and we'll replay that. All right, story 4 for the evening. We have from Kotaku, report there will be no mainline Call of Duty game released in 2023. Steve, my first question to you, what did Xbox say they were going to do with Call of Duty when they said they were going to buy Activision?
Well, they did say they were going to still give it to PlayStation. That was one of the things they said.
Yeah, up until when did they guarantee it? 2023, the year they're not releasing one? Yeah. What were the chances? Yeah.
So I don't know whether this is a Call of Duty thing or a Microsoft thing, but I think it's probably good for Call of Duty that it takes a rest. I think the best thing that ever happened to Assassin's Creed was they stopped releasing it annually. I think the same thing could be said for Call of Duty. I think as much as we enjoyed the Vanguard campaign, most people stick around for the multiplayer. And for most people, Vanguard's multiplayer didn't cut it this year, which is the reason we're hearing rumours this Modern Warfare 2 is going to be coming out earlier than expected this year. And so the fact that they were talking about that coming out earlier, and then the fact that now next year's Call of Duty is delayed, I think that sort of speaks, wonders. I think it's because Warzone is doing so well. They don't feel the need to release another Call of Duty in the meantime. They can just update Warzone for what it is because people are still going to keep playing that and forking out their money for whatever in that game. So there's no real need to get a Call of Duty campaign out sort of next year. I think for me, I'm happy just to wait and see and hopefully bring out a much longer campaign. The quality's never sort of been the issue. It's just sort of more, I'd love to, like, as we said, Vanguard was awesome, but I could have gone for another, double what we got in that game just because the game almost finished just as it was getting started. and I would love to see more of that. So I think this is a good thing. Your Call of Duty purists out there might go, "Oh, what am I going to do this year? I've got no Call of Duty." Don't worry, mate.
Go play Destiny 2.
I was going to say, you've still got FIFA coming out every year, so go play that, because most people who only play the one game either play FIFA or Call of Duty. But no, play Destiny 2. It's a really good first-person shooter. But no, I think this is good. As I said, it worked for Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is as good as it's ever been, and I think Call of Duty is only going to get better with more time behind its back, and it's stop flogging these developers who are trying to get these games out every year.
I hear what you're saying, man, and I think that's a very romantic and optimistic view you have on the world. Tinfoil hat conspiracy Troy over here says we are looking at a Phil Spencer puppet on strings show. I think all of this is driven by Microsoft. I think Microsoft looked at the pipeline and said, yeah, we'll have that, and yeah, we'll have that exclusively. You want to put it to 2024 where we're beyond the contract requirements of 2023. Come up with some BS story as to why it can't come out. But I love the look of that. We're allocating you more funds. Go and develop it further. Have an extra year development time. But I don't think it's required. I don't think Activision couldn't have pulled it off if they want to. They've got 18 years of releasing, on time. This, to me, is a change brought on by the Microsoft merger, nothing to do with Activision and their ability to run a studio. They've got 18 years. They've got 18 years behind them.
Just to back your point up, actually, I'm pretty sure if you look at the sales numbers, I'm pretty sure Vanguard is still the best-selling game from last year.
Yeah, to me, this is all smoke and mirrors. Phil's doing a little puppet show for us. I don't buy any of this. I believe the results are true. Yeah, there won't be one in 2023, but I don't think it's because they couldn't do it. I think it's because Microsoft don't want them to do it. I think they're going to push whatever the game is to 2024, get beyond the contract period, and then I still believe they're going to pull a 12-month exclusive on Call of Duties moving forward. I reckon 2024 is going to be the best Call of Duty you've seen in 5 to 10 years. It's going to have that extra development time, and it's going to be exclusive to Xbox for 12 months. That's the way it looks to me, but keep in mind, everyone, that's me with a tinfoil hat on. So big bag of salt with that, but that's how the cards read from where I'm sitting.
I like it. Get in there, Phil. Do what you got to do.
Do it, Phil. Do it, man. Go, son. Go.
Make games better, Phil. That's all you're there for.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm not knocking the dude. I'm just calling the plays as I see them. My hat is off to you, Phil. Keep running, sir. Keep running. All right, story number 5 this week. DICE Awards 2022 winners. The full list. Steve, tell us things.
Mate, well, the first thing I'll say is, Troy, that it looks like It Takes Two has taken out its second game of the year. Well, it's the second major game of the year. It won the Game of the Year awards game for Game of the Year, and it's done the same thing at the DICE Awards. So it's good to see a game that we both absolutely adored and played together full on stream is available on Geek Aloud. If you go look us up.
It's got its own playlist.
It does. We had a great time playing the game. Good to see Deathloop didn't win Game of the Year again, although it was nominated. So suck it, Deathloop. You weren't a great game.
Total aside. Deathloop. What's it called? Game Developers Notebook podcast this week. It's the head of Insomniac Games, and his name is escaping me. I know it. It's not there. He hosts the podcast, and he's talking to the director of Deathloop, and it is a fantastic interview. If you're a video game nerd as much as I am and love these interviews, seek out that interview, because everyone knows how flawed I think Deathloop was as a game. It is fantastic to hear the game director talk about it from his point of view. Really enlightening stuff. Sorry, Steve, back to you.
That's right. Is it Ted Price?
Ted Price. You nailed it. Ted Price, yes.
Beautiful. That's right. We'll just go through the what the DICE Awards the nominees / winners were for the awards, because I think there was a few similarities to the actual Game Awards, but I think Ratchet and Clank took out quite a few more awards than it did at the Game Awards, which I was actually happy to see, because that was such a good game during the year. But I was still unhappy to see that Returnal didn't win a Game of the Year. It's okay. It got a few awards at the DICE Awards. I think we had outstanding achievement in animation went to Ratchet and Clank, which I think is a great win, considering we had Call of Duty, Deathloop, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, and Resident Evil also in there. But I think definitely Ratchet and Clank deserved the win there.
Yep.
Outstanding achievement art direction also went to Ratchet and Clank. I'm pretty sure that award went to Deathloop in the Game Awards, if memory serves.
Yeah. Yep.
Outstanding achievement in character. This one just kind of shits me a bit because she won it in the Game Awards as well, which was that lady Dimitrescu from
who is like a bit player. She's so small appearance.
Barely in it.
Yeah.
So outstanding achievement character. She beat out Deathloop's Colt, Keena's Keena, Life is Strange, True Colors, Alex, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart Rivet. I think I would have probably given it to any of those other characters over her for outstanding achievement in character.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, she was tall and she was a vampire, and that was about it. But she wasn't in the game for that long. She was like, what, a third of the game, maybe?
Oh, not even an eighth.
Like, yeah, she was tall, but like for me, not that memorable, really. Like she was iconic in terms of the game because that's what all the marketing told us to believe in. But for me, no. Anyway, outstanding achievement in original music composition went to Returnal. Thank God! What a soundtrack that game had, and it was up against Deathloop, It Takes Two, Keena, and Psychonauts 2. So thank you, Returnal. Returnal took out the next one, which is outstanding achievement in audio design as well.
If I can just go back and point out, I think it's a travesty that on their original music composition that we don't have Guardians of the Galaxy for there, because the theme for that was original for the game, and that's a phenomenal theme. I think it should have been in there just for that. Anyway.
Agreed. Well, you'd be happy to know that Guardians of the Galaxy did win Outstanding Achievement in Story, which we've already hyped up the story with Guardians. I thought it was one of the best stories, if not the best story in games last year. So good work, Guardians, for winning that one.
Indeed.
Considering it's up against a few others, before your eyes, I don't know. Inscription apparently was really good. Psychonauts 2 had a great story, and The Forgotten City, I believe, was quite good as well. So good to see Guardians get that one amongst those sort of lesser-known games, which are usually the ones that win those games, those indie developers. They seem to like those. So it's good to see the big blockbuster game get that one.
Indeed. And sorry, mate, jump back up one. I think we jumped over audio design.
Yeah, we did. We did double audio design, which also went to Returnal, which I think is an absolute apt winner for that one.
Definitely, especially with the speaker in the controller. Ooh.
Yeah, I think we actually, Geek.aloud gave our award for audio to Forza Horizon, but I think it's because we gave Returnal our Game of the Year. So we had to give Forza something. So outstanding technical achievement also went to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which I think is apt winner for that one as well. I mean, maybe could have gone. Why is Battlefield 2042 on that?
That's my question. I just saw the what? Technical achievement, Battlefield 2042. Is that hiding the scoreboard between a long press of the select button?
Wow, I just don't know how that made it on the list at all.
Oh, that's baffling. That is baffling.
Now, this kind of makes me happy, but also kind of makes me sad. We got Action Game of the Year actually went to Halo Infinite, which I think is awesome. I think Halo was an amazing action game. I just see Returnal in that list as well and go, oh, maybe Returnal.
Definitely Returnal.
Yeah, but I was happy to see Halo because I don't think it actually made the cut for Game Awards in terms of timing, so it wasn't actually eligible for any of the lists. So it was good to see it actually jumped into this and got a win. So well done, Halo.
Yeah, great point.
Adventure Game of the Year, even though it was up against It Takes Two, which took out the Game of the Year for DICE, so actually went to Guardians of the Galaxy as well. So well done again, Galaxies.
Nailing it.
Family Game. This is one I think they got right because I think the Game Awards gave the Family Game of the Year to It Takes Two, which was about a family breaking up. It was quite strange.
Very odd.
So that went to Ratchet and Clank, which I think is a very, again, apt winner for that category.
Agreed.
Fighting Game of the Year. We don't care about fighting games. Let's skip that one. Racing Game of the Year. Forza. Yep, that's a lock. I like to see Hot Wheels was at least nominated because that was a great game.
Yeah.
Role-playing Game of the Year, yep, that had to go to Final Fantasy because Elden Ring wasn't out yet. Sports Game of the Year, Mario Golf, quality game. That good to see it beat out FIFA and Riders Republic. That was I like Riders Republic.
Oh, Riders Republic, yes, indeed.
Mario Golf was a great game as well. Strategy game, don't really get into those either. Went to Age of Empires, which probably be expected looking at the other games in that category. Let me have a Mercy here. We don't really care about that. Don't really care about that. Outstanding achievement for an independent game. This is one I wanted to mention. Outstanding achievement for independent game. You had Death's Door, Inscription, Loop Hero, Sable, and Troy, the winner, which actually made it to a few of our shows, was Unpacking.
Indeed, mate. You picked that one. That was nothing to do with me.
Did.
Steve, you picked an absolute gem there. Good work, mate. Good work. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir. And I actually really love Death's Door. I haven't given Sable a go, but heard good things about that. But Unpacking just had like a cute little story about it, just a little loop of gameplay that was just fun and addictive, and I think, it's good to see it won the Outstanding Achievement for Independent Game there. Very well done.
Indeed.
Mobile game, I know your favourite's not even on the list there, Diablo.
No, well, Diablo still in beta, technically hasn't launched, so I think it's ineligible.
Good point. Online game of the year. Good to see Halo got another win there. I think that's probably an apt win considering all the other multiplayer games that came out during the year. Knockout City, I think, was actually quite a unique experience. A lot of people actually really enjoyed it, but you can't go past Halo.
Indeed.
Achievement in game design went to It Takes Two, which, good to see.
Solid win.
Solid win. Like, that's the best, we'll say it's probably the best co-op experience we've probably ever had.
Yep.
In gaming, in terms of level design and just pure fun to play and just the way the whole thing works, and just it got game of the year. We can't say too much about it. It's a great game.
Yeah, indeed.
And they had to give this game a win, didn't they? Outstanding achievement in game direction.
No, they didn't, Steve.
They didn't. They didn't. This probably could have gone to It Takes Two or even Ratchet & Clank as well, but they gave Deathloop the win for outstanding achievement in the game direction, which I believe it also won a similar award at the Game Awards.
It did. Now, I disagree with them giving them that category. However, if the category was outstanding achievement in game direction podcasting with Deathloop winning, now that would win for Game Developers Notebook. Once again, with Ted Price. Check it out. It's a great interview.
Check it out. But those were your winners for the DICE Awards this year. So well done, It Takes Two, for your second major Game of the Year award. Well deserved.
Great work, and I cannot wait for It Takes Three.
That's right.
Then story 6 this week.
Oh, wait. Sorry. It Takes Two movie.
I did not know. That is news to me. Have they announced who they're casting? I would love to know their casting choice.
No, nothing of that yet, but there is a company that I think it's could potentially be somewhere in the Sony bracket as well that might be looking at it. So whether it's a similar director Uncharted, I don't know. All I know is there's early talks about It Takes Two movies. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm just wondering how Tom Holland's going to look in a fat suit to play the father. That's my big question.
You all know he's in it.
Maybe they'll really subvert expectations and cast him as the wife.
Hey, there you go. We're forward-thinking these days.
We try to be. All right, next story. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet announced for later 2022. Steve, over to you.
Well, I believe you've designated me the Pokemon aficionado.
You are, sir.
I only just saw this just tonight that they did have a Pokemon event today, I want to say, with Nintendo announcing a whole bunch of different Pokemon stuff, and they have announced a brand new Pokemon game coming out again 2022. They've only just had Arceus release, which I've played and I've been playing still and enjoying it with its new open world, and it looks like this one again is keeping the open world but sort of sticking with the more traditional cartoony sort of Pokemon, more of the Let's Go Pikachu kind of graphic art style, which I think actually is quite appealing, especially when it comes to the Switch and its graphics. I think this looks quite good, and it looks like they're going to blend. Well, the quote they say is, "Get ready for an open world where various towns with no borders blend seamlessly into the wilderness."
Whoa.
Cool line. Cool line. Sounds fun. So we'll see. But from the stuff I've watched in your opening Pokemon you get, there's a cool little duck guy that looks like he's got a massive chest. He's been hitting the gym. That'll probably be my starter if I get into this. But I'll have to be well and truly into Arceus to give this one a go. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other games. And as much as I was enjoying Arceus, again, Troy, open worlds, I'm finding it very hard to pull myself away from Elden Ring at the moment. So
there's no need to, Steve. Stop looking and enjoy Elden Ring.
No, good point. We don't have a Jax duck yet in Elden Ring, though. It wouldn't surprise me if we come across one.
It's just because you haven't come across it yet doesn't mean they haven't put it in there, mate.
That's right, mate. I just go back to Elden Ring. Sorry, everything's Elite Elden Ring, but just the monster design in that game. I'm coming across different looking things and crazy looking things all the time in that. It's just insane.
Phenomenal game. All right, the final story for the week. Another quick one here. This one, to me, just perked my interest. It's a little bit of a kind of left-hand turn here for the show, but we'll go into it briefly. This was a quote from Gabe Newell. 50% of transactions were fraudulent. According to him, this was back. There was a period of time there, just over 12 months, I believe, where Steam were accepting Bitcoin for payments. This was the end of 2016, the start of 2017. 50% of the transactions were fraudulent. Now, the real reason I bring this up, Steve, you are a police officer, mate, and my question to you is simple. It's this. If someone came into the, what do you call it, the police station, that's what I'm looking for, police station. If someone came into your police station and said, excuse me, Officer Steve, someone's stolen my Bitcoin, what would the Victorian Police say to that kind of inquiry, do you think?
I'd probably direct them to cybercrime.com to report their crime, and then it will get allocated to the designated law enforcement agency that needs to deal with it.
Very good. And what is the Bitcoin enforcement agency looking like? Are they well funded?
Yeah, let's say they are. Let's say if you report that, then your complaints can be well dealt with. I'm sure you'll get an email at some point from someone saying we're taking your inquiry very seriously and expect a phone call in 2 to 3 months in relation to it.
Yeah,
I don't like. Again, yeah, or take you out of my police station because you're crazy and take your tinfoil hat off. But, no, like this never happened to me, but I don't put it out of the realm of possibility of this kind of stuff trying to get reported. I've seen everything in my career try to get reported to me, but it's only a matter of time until NFTs and stuff coming out. I bought an NFT painting and someone's got the copy of it. What are you going to do about it, Victoria Police? My answer would be probably nothing.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. So, just keep that in the back of your mind as people try to sell you anything on the blockchain. Your local police officers might be too keen to step into action if it goes south on you. Anyway.
Not too keen or, well-equipped enough to deal with your inquiry.
Indeed. Yes. Now, as we always do, we wrap up the news segment with Game Informer's list of the upcoming titles for this week. And it's not as exciting, I'll be honest, as last week's. But first up, what's that, Alex? I'm going to assume PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. March 1st, no rating. I'm going to guess this is an online first-person shooter that's free to play and revolves around microtransactions. Steve, your thoughts?
You couldn't be more wrong, Troy.
Oh!
It's a sequel to Elix 1, which actually wasn't that bad a game for an indie sort of title. It's an RPG set in sort of olden times, but you're also in the future at the same time. So I think kind of Halo tech, like you've got a big open world that's like green and trees, but you've also got your technology and stuff as well. So like kind of Horizon-y as well, but it's an RPG. You've got your character, you've got a jetpack, you can semi-glide / fly, you've got weapons and stuff. Like I just watched a quick video on this, just some early impressions from a few months ago before the game was out. And people are pretty high. It's one of those THQ Nordic games. So, THQ Nordic bought up a whole bunch of games and releasing them. So, yeah, I'm not expecting massive things out of this, especially looking at the game and like this looks like a cheaper version of kind of an Elden Ring kind of thing. But I think it's releasing around the wrong time. But I think if you release this in a time where there wasn't a whole bunch of other stuff coming out, it might be an enjoyable game to play. Whether it's an Xbox Game Pass title, I'm not 100% sure. It does kind of scream like it may be. And if it runs well, if it's a 60 frames and it gives you a decent story, which it looks like it does, and some of the gameplay aspects are fun, I could see jumping in as being a little bit of fun. I just don't think right now is the right time for this game to launch.
Fair call, mate. Fair call. Could have said the same thing about Horizon. Next up on the list is far changing tides. PS5, PS4, Xbox X and One, Switch and PC. The note from me is I am positive I've seen this cover in the upcoming Games to Game Pass. It's scored an 8.25, but that cover looks familiar. If it sparks your interest and you've got an Xbox Game Pass subscription, check it out there at no extra cost.
Absolutely. I did check this one out quickly. It does look like your limbo-y type sort of 2D puzzle solver kind of game, so it could be kind of cool to play. I haven't played one of these games for a while. I really did love your Limbo and whatever. I can't remember the sequel. What was the sequel they did? Not the sequel, but like the
Inside.
Success they did to it. Inside, yeah. So I really love those games. Haven't really played one or one that's hit sort of as well as those ones did back in the time. This could be that thing, but as I said, mate, Troy, it's the wrong time to releasing any other game other than Elden Ring.
Indeed. Then next up, an old favourite of mine, Puzzle Quest. Puzzle Quest 3 is coming out on March 1st, PC, iOS, and Android. Personally, I'm definitely checking it out. However, if you recall Puzzle Quest 2, Puzzle Quest 1 was fantastic standalone installment. Puzzle Quest 2 was riddled with microtransactions and pay-to-win mechanics. They absolutely drove the series into the ground with it. I am still hopeful of the quality of Puzzle Quest 1. The Puzzle Quest 3 will be great. I'm hoping they've learnt their lessons and pulled all the pay-to-win microtransaction stuff out. If so, I would put this on anyone with a smartphone's radar. This series, it's an RPG, but a match 3 RPG. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun for a phone game, in my opinion. Number one was. So my eyes will be peeled on March 1st for the Android release of this one. I'm keen. You, mate, did you ever get into it?
No, I never have. I think I got into. It was like a Marvel-y sort of game. They did something similar.
Yeah, Marvel Alliance.
Yeah, so I played that, but yeah, I don't know if I'll be getting into Puzzle Quest 3 at all anytime soon. If it's probably a free download, I imagine, with microtransactions on the App Store.
I hope it's not. I would love to pay them $5 and then not be bothered by them for transactions.
Wouldn't we all? But apparently that's not what it seems to come to when it comes to iOS and stuff.
I'm hopeful that they got such backlash off the way they did number 2. I'm hopeful they don't repeat the mistake, but who knows?
Yeah, let's hope so.
Time will tell. All right, next up, Shadow Warrior 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, last gen, some might say. Steve, any input?
Yeah, I'm actually excited for this one.
Whoa, really?
I said there was no games I play other than Elden Ring, but in terms of palate cleanser and something completely different other than Elden Ring, I think I enjoyed the Shadow Warrior series. I've played a little bit of 1, but then really, really liked 2.
Yeah.
And it received like the Xbox Series X S sort of upgrade to the 60 frames, and playing it. It's still a fun time. It's very much your Destiny meets Doom, and now they've got a grapple hook which makes it look like Halo as well.
Oh.
And it's just a fun time. So I think you pre-order at the moment, you actually get Shadow Warrior 1 and 2 for free, both on PlayStation and Xbox as well. So if you pre-order it before tomorrow, I think it's actually coming out on the 2nd for Australia. So I think you've still got tomorrow to pre-order if you want your Shadow Warrior 1 and 2. Not as big a deal on Xbox, I think, because the Shadow Warriors potentially, I think, are on Game Pass.
Yeah, that rings true. I don't know whether they're still in there, but I believe definitely number 1 was in there for a time.
Yeah, so I think they are. So that's why I haven't bothered pre-ordering that. But I'll wait and see some reviews. But I think it's going to be a good time, Troy. I'm actually looking forward to this one.
Okay, very good. And then next on the list, we have Babylon's Fall. Appears to be a PlayStation/PC exclusive. Any thoughts on Babylon's Fall, Steve?
They showed this at an E3 back before it got a change in everything. Like, it looked really cool, like a third-person Devil May Cry sort of meets Final Fantasy aesthetic as well. And then they released some more gameplay, I think, the following E3 potentially, and the game looked like it completely changed. I checked out some gameplay stuff of a Let's Play if someone's clearly got an early copy of it, and I'm not impressed at all. It's got a shonky Dark Souls feel about it, and I don't mean that in a good way. Like, it just looks like a copy of that with a slight sort of Devil May Cry, some weird leveling systems and a weird girl voiceover that just makes it seem cheap. Like, I don't think this game's going to review or play well at all. And I think, again, with the style it's going for, like with a kind of a Dark Souls-y feel, I think the fact that it's coming out a week, not even a week after Elden Ring's come out, I think it's just not going to do really well at all. I think it's being sent out to die, and it's unfortunate because it did have some promise when it was first shown, but yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be too excited for Babylon's Fall, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Now, next up, this is the cream of the week, in my opinion. Gran Turismo 7 coming to us March 4, PS5, PS4 exclusive. Steve, you are a Gran Turismo fan or a casual fan?
Probably a casual fan. I remember getting my PlayStation 2 and loading up Gran Turismo for the first time and thinking, oh my God, this thing's like the best looking game we've ever seen.
Yep.
And Gran Turismo has always been like that. It's always been the benchmark of like what the PlayStation can put out. So I'll be very intrigued to see what it looks like. I'm not very intrigued to see how much hard drive space it takes up on the PlayStation, whether I'm willing to do that just for a racing game. So I might just check out and say, I've got Forza if I want to play a fun racing game. So I think this one just might have to wait. I've got plenty of other things to play. I don't need to, install and spend money on this game just to sort of see what it looks like. But Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll wait for a sale.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. I got to tell you, I am keen to get into Gran Turismo 7. One, I can't wait to see how it looks on the PS5. But two, man, you've seen it, you've played it. That steering wheel setup I've got, man. I can't wait to finally play a Gran Turismo game with the proper steering wheel setup. I'm all kinds of excited for Gran Turismo 7 myself. And then the last one of the week is Triangle Strategy for Switch. I know nothing.
Nothing. Well, I know a few things. I know. Did you ever play Octopath Traveler?
I am aware of it. No, I've never played it.
Octopath Traveler is sort of an isometric RPG turn-based game. It came out I played it on the Switch, and I believe it's since come out. I believe it was even on Game Pass.
I'm confident it is still in Game Pass.
Yeah, it came out late last year on Xbox. But I really enjoyed my time with Octopath Traveler. I never finished it, but just a really cool art style and stuff. And I think this is a similar art style and a similar kind of gameplay as well. Weird name for a game. I think you're trying to bring in people that don't know about a game, but you read triangle and strategy. Triangle's not my favourite shape, and then the word strategy just makes me think like...
Oh, no, Steve, now you've got to answer the question, what is your favourite shape?
Mate, I'd probably call it circle strategy if I was going to call it anything. I don't know, like circle for me is like the shape circle is like the colour blue for me. Like they're one and the same. It's a nicer name.
And hold on a minute, this is exclusive to the Switch. Shouldn't it be Y strategy?
It should. You would think so.
If it was on PlayStation, it'd be triangle strategy.
Yeah, true. That's right. It's a bloody Switch with their random placement of X and A and Y and B. Get it right. Switch it around. Make it like everything else, guys. Jeez.
Indeed. And that is official because it came from the Gaming Enforcement Agency. Clean up your act.
That's it.
All right, man. That is going to do it for the news this week. Where does that bring us to, everyone? Oh, my God. You know what's next?
Who will fight?
Who will fight? Steve, this week's standoff, my friend. Tell me things.
Oh, this week's standoff, mate. In honour of our favourite game of the year so far, Elden Ring, we're going to do the most iconic ring or rings in gaming, Troy.
I'm excited. Steve, I'll let you drive it, mate. The first one we've got up on screen, Sonic Ring.
The Sonic Ring. So we've already spoken. I think it was even last week we said how Sonic, we like the concept of Sonic, just we don't really like the games.
Yeah.
But there's no denying that the rings in Sonic are as iconic as the character himself.
Indeed.
Still to this day, just think of like Sonic. You collect all your rings, and then you crash into anything, and then like they all go flying. You're trying to collect them. They make such an iconic ding sound as you're trying to pick them up.
Yep.
I think the recent movie does a really good thing with the rings. How they use them to like transport.
Yep.
Sonic to different worlds and stuff. So I think in terms of actual rings in video games, I think Sonic's probably the first one to do an iconic ring. So there's no denying that they were the headliners when it came to rings in games. But
trendsetters. Some might call them trendsetters.
They were trendsetters. Unfortunately, it's in a game that we don't like, but it can't deny its iconicness.
Indeed. All right, number 2, we have a Ring Fit, Steve. Ring Fit.
Ring Fit, I haven't actually played Ring Fit, but from
I have.
Everyone that has played Ring Fit says it's incredible and it is really good for fitness. And I can't remember, there was someone at work I spoke to that just loves Ring Fit and they don't play any other games and they've just played Ring Fit and they've been talking to me and how good it actually is in terms of a workout. I'm like, well, I can see that, and I think it's one of the better peripherals that's come out from Nintendo for the Switch, and I think it still sells very well to this day. And the fact that a video game can get people moving, I think it's earned its name on the list.
100%, man. From my point of view, this was one of the fitness savers for when we were in the height of lockdown. This was my go-to, my daily exercise was Ring Fit for a substantial time. Very enjoyable game. I refer to it highly from a fitness standpoint.
Very good. So, yeah, Ring Fit, you're number 2 on our list, but I think number 3 is going to take the cakes a little bit higher now.
Oh,
is where we start getting the big bad boys of rings in games.
Here it is. There it is on screen, Steve. Go for it, mate.
Oh, mate, Troy, I actually do own a version of this ring, which I did threaten to wear to the Uncharted movie.
Oh, my God, that would have been amazing.
I was like, oh, I've got to wear this ring, and I put it on. I got a look from the missus, and I was like, okay, I won't wear the ring. Got that message loud and clear, but I was like, but I could be in the movie with the ring, and then everyone that doesn't know what Uncharted is going to walk out the movie and go, oh, my God, that guy's got the ring. How's he got the ring already?
Oh, amazing.
So that, yeah, I do own that ring, and I still love the saying "Sic Parvis Magna," and greatness from small beginnings. It's like I've threatened to have that tattooed on myself at one point.
Oh, if you ever go for that, mate, let me know. We'll go and we'll get matching ones.
Oh, I love it! I love it. So yeah, no, it's one of those most iconic rings in games. Like I think. And what they did with, I think, Uncharted 3, where the ring actually became part of, like, it actually opened something. It was a puzzle that the ring was actually required for. So it wasn't just a ring. It all of a sudden became a storytelling device as well, which I thought was an absolute genius from Naughty Dog to put that into Uncharted 3.
Tip of the cap to Neil Druckmann.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, for me, this is one of my favourite rings in video games. I don't know if it'd be the most iconic when it comes to this whole list, but for me, this holds a special place in my heart. Just
you and I both.
It belongs to one of my favourite characters in one of my favourite video games of all time.
Indeed, mate. Fantastic ring, and I'm very jealous of your possession of said ring. Next up, we have on screen the Middle-earth ring, Steve.
The Middle-earth ring... Sorry, I just saw the screenshot again. My precious.
That would have been me looking at you in the cinema wearing the ring in the Uncharted. That is the exact look that would have been on my face if I had encountered you wearing the ring at the screening.
Oh, I love it. So in this game, they sort of the whole famous like Lord of the Rings ring. You have to create like this. You have to forge a new ring because the other one I can't remember the story, but you had to. I just picked this because it's Lord of the Rings and it's a ring, and you got gold stupid face looking at it. It's on the list because it's Lord of the Rings. That's all I need to say.
Indeed, mate. Great pick. I love it. All right. Next up on screen, Halo rings.
The Halo ring, Halo rings. Like, again, this is going to make a stake for one of the most famous rings in gaming. You don't get Halo without the Halo ring.
Indeed.
I don't care what you say. I mean, I know, was it Halo Reach? I don't actually think had a Halo ring in it until the very end, where
I'm not sure on this one
where it was going, but I think that you don't think he spent any time on the ring, but that didn't make that game any less a good game. But I mean, you don't get any bigger ring in any of this list. This is clearly the biggest one. It holds whole worlds on it.
Gaming's biggest ring.
Gaming's biggest ring is definitely the Halo ring, and we've spent so many endless hours playing Halo, and most of that time has been spent on a giant ring. So you can't.
I'm still waiting for the day in a Halo game where they crash two rings together. That's going to be phenomenal.
Oh, we've already got the damage ring in Halo Infinite.
I want them to crash together, Steve.
Oh, I just want them to. I just hope they expand that ring, and I hope we start seeing new biomes in Halo Infinite and campaign stuff. I think we're a little while away from that, but I think they can just expand that Halo ring in Infinite.
Ooh, yeah.
If you want to crash them into each other, go ahead.
Yes, I love it. I'm keen for it. All right, the next up. It's the Sydney 2000 Olympic rings.
I mean, there's no more iconic rings than the Olympics rings, surely. And 2000 on PlayStation.
Worldwide iconic, real-world recognition of those rings. I don't know that there'd be more than 10% of humans on the planet that don't know those rings on first sight, Steve. I think you've nailed that one.
And I remember just being in school being like blue, black, red, yellow, green. Just go, that's the rings. I felt so proud that I knew the colours of the rings in order. and Troy, they graced the Sydney 2000 PlayStation game on the front cover. How iconic, Troy!
That's so iconic, so very Australian.
It is.
All right, the final entry for this week, most iconic ring in gaming. Steve, we present to you the Red Ring of Death.
Oh, the Red Ring of Death, Troy. I was working at EB Games, unfortunately, when this was a thing because the amount of Xbox consoles I had returned or stories I heard of people folding towels to remelt the solder inside their console, which turned the red ring to not be a red ring, and all the different theories. And I did try that myself. I think it worked momentarily before I had to swap my console over. But this was worldwide, Troy. This was one of the biggest stories going around, the Red Ring of Death. And I'd be hard-pressed to think of any ring in gaming that had such an impact on video games than the Red Ring of Death on the 360.
Indeed, Steve. I think we have finished on the winner this week. I've got to say, mate, the Red Ring of Death takes the cake for me. A fantastic lineup as always. Did you have a winner, mate? I nominate the Red Ring of Death, indeed.
Yeah, I think in terms of impact on the gaming community and gaming in general and the gaming world, I think just speaking from a retail perspective as well, how much impact it had on me as a manager at EB Games, definitely the winner this week has to go to the Xbox Red Ring of Death.
Oh, and of course, it's probably a great time to remind everyone that, yes, I got my Xbox 360 at the midnight launch, played it beautifully, woke up in the morning, turned it on for another crack, Red Ring to Death, took it straight back. I was there before they opened, and I got the last remaining console in stock on launch day. I was at the midnight launch, got it home, Red Ring to Death, took it back in the morning and got their last replacement console. And then that console didn't red ring on me. It was perfect.
Hey, nice. Now, I'm glad, Troy, that we've given the winner out this week before you've managed to sneak Elden Ring into the contention. So, Red Ring of Death, you've taken the win, Elden Ring. Sorry, buddy.
Man, it didn't even occur to me, and I totally would have. Damn you, Steve, you win again. All right. Winner this week for the standoff is indeed you, the Xbox Red Ring of Death. Well played. So you fought. All right, Steve, I think that will bring us on through to the final segment tonight is, of course, I think I've got a button somewhere, but I can't find it. It's gone. So, audience interrogation. Steve, can you tell? Oh, no, I don't have it. Steve, can you tell me, what are they saying in the YouTube chat land? What are the thoughts? What are the questions?
I'll do a shout out. Sean Games has been in there most of the night. G'day, Sean.
Hey, Sean. Great work. Thanks, man.
We've had Ben and Blue in there as well.
Hey, Ben and Blue's back. Ben and Blue's been in a couple of my live streams. Thank you very much for checking out the Gaming Enforcement Agency.
Looks like Ben and Blue's excited for GT7 coming out this Friday, so we talked a bit about that.
Nice.
Thank you, Sean. Sean Games, he did say that he was going to watch Max Payne, so I didn't have to watch it again, and he absolutely loved the movie with Mr. Marky Mark.
That's a great point. I did have a brief back and forth with Sean on Discord, and he's convinced me, Steve, I'm going to go back and give Marky Mark Max Payne another viewing in short order.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What else have we got? Battlefield 2042 got on the list because of its amazing excuse blaming Halo for game being not finished. I like that. What else we got? And then, Sean Games, we've got the new Batman movie this week, so we might have to do a Batman thing. We'll see how we go.
Wow.
Did forget about that.
If only they had like, the PS5 version of Arkham Asylum to release alongside it or something. That could have been phenomenal.
Oh, God, I wish. I can't wait for that movie. So that's another good one to go to the cinema for. And then looks like Sean Games, he was almost going to give Sydney 2,000 rings the winner. He didn't realise what was coming though. But I do like your thinking. Sean Games, it looks like he did appreciate it with a lol at the end. Appreciate the win that we gave it. Just making sure he wants another Uncharted movie now. Yep, we've discussed that. Definitely want another one. Sequel is on its way. You can bet my money on it, and you can bet Sony's money that they are making another one or discussing it as we speak.
Indeed. Exciting times.
In terms of actual questions, no further questions here unless you've got anything else from Discord.
No, I don't have anything from Discord this week, so that will do it for another episode of the Gaming Enforcement Agency. Thank you to everybody who viewed it. I appreciate the viewage. And if you could share it out there, let some more people know the goodness that is within these here doors of the Gaming Enforcement Agency. But for this week, Troy signing off. Steve, thank you very much.
Mate, Steve signing off, and congratulations, Troy, on us for episode number 20.
Hey, look out, episode 20. You know what that means next week? The big 21. If you're in America, you can start drinking, I suppose, but that's next week's problem. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Remember, youtube.com/GeekAloud, home of the Let's Install series. We do live Let's Plays now Wednesdays and Friday mornings, 10 a.m. Australian Eastern, and of course, every Monday night, 8 p.m.-ish, Gaming Enforcement Agency, right here, youtube.com/GeekAloud. Like it, subscribe it, you'll never miss it.
Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's something.
I love everything about it. Ooh.
Fire splash!
Old Uncle Donkey. Donkey.